Hello and welcome to another session from LearnITCoursesOnline.com. My name is Bashir Fuddle, and I'd like to welcome you in this journey. In this session, we continue to delve into the career of a business analyst. A big part of what a successful business analyst does is requirements management. So what does that mean, and how can we build on it? Gathering software requirements is the foundation of the entire software development project. Soliciting and gathering business requirements is a critical first step for every project. In order to bridge the gap between the business and technical requirements, the business analyst must fully understand the business needs within the given context and align these needs with the business objectives and properly communicate the needs to both the stakeholders and the development team. The key stakeholders wish that someone could explain customer-client requirements in plain English. Will this benefit them from understanding the value at a high level? This will be the main focus area, as they will try to map the documentation with the requirements and how the business analyst could communicate in the best possible way. The million-dollar question: why do projects fail? There are many reasons why projects fail, but some of the common areas include the following: market and strategy failure. Number two, organizational and planning failures. Number three, quality failures. Number four, leadership and governance failures. Number five, skills, knowledge, and competency failures. And number six, engagement, teamwork, and communication failures. At the core of the issues is that projects are increasingly complex, change occurs, and communication could be very challenging. So that's a good entrance to why successful teams do requirements management. Requirements management is about keeping your team in sync and providing visibility to what is going on within a project. It is critical to the success of your project for your whole team to understand what you are building and why. That's how we define requirements management. The why is important because it provides context to the goals and feedback and decisions being made about the requirements. This increases predictability of future success and potential problems, allowing your team to quickly course correct any issues and successfully complete your project on time and within budget. As a starting point, it is valuable for everyone involved to have a basic understanding of what requirements are and how to manage them. Let's start with the basics. A requirement is a condition or capability needed by a stakeholder to solve a problem or achieve an objective. A condition or capability that must be met or possessed by a system or systems. Component to satisfy a contract, standard specification, other formally imposed document. As such, a requirement can be expressed with text, sketches, detailed mock-ups, or models. Whatever information best communicates to an engineer or developer what to build, and to a QA manager what to test. Depending on your development process, you might use different terminology to capture your requirements. High-level requirements are sometimes referred to simply as needs or goals. Within software development practices, requirements might be referred to as use cases, features, or functional requirements. Even more specifically, within agile development methodologies, requirements are often captured as epics or stories. Regardless of what your team calls them or what process you use, requirements are essential to the development of all products. Without clearly defining requirements, you could produce an incomplete or defective product. So throughout the process, there can be many people involved in defining requirements. A stakeholder might request a feature that describes how the product will provide value in solving a problem. A designer might define a requirement based on how the final product should look or perform from a usability or user interface standpoint. A business analyst Might create a system requirement that adheres to specific technical or organizational constraints. Now that we've defined the value of requirements management at a high level, let's go deeper into the 4 fundamentals that every team member and stakeholder can benefit from understanding. Number 1, planning good requirements. What the heck are we building? Number 2, collaboration and buy-in. Collaboration and buy-in. Just approve the spec already. Number 3, traceability and change management. Wait, do the developers know the changes or know what changed? Number 4, quality assurance. Hello, did anyone test this thing? Does everyone know what we're building and why? That's the value of requirements management. Collaboration and buy-in from stakeholders. Is everyone in the loop? Do we have approval on the requirements to move forward? These questions come up during the development cycles. It would be great if everyone could agree on requirements. But for large projects with many stakeholders, this does not usually happen. Trying to get everyone in agreement can cause decisions to be delayed or worse, not made at all. Gaining consensus on every decision is not always easy. In practice, you don't necessarily want consensus. You want buy-in from the group and approval from those in control so you can move the project forward. With consensus, you're trying to get everyone to compromise and agree on the decision. With buy-in, you are trying to get people to back the best solution, make a smart decision, and do what is necessary to move forward. You don't need everyone to agree that the decision is the best. You need everyone to support the decision. Team collaboration can help in receiving support on decisions and in planning good requirements. Collaborative teams work hard to make sure everyone has a stake in projects and provide feedback. Collaborative teams continuously share ideas, typically have better communication, and tend to support decisions made because there is a shared sense of commitment and understanding of the goals of the project. It's when the developers, testers, or other stakeholders feel out of the loop that communication issues arise, people get frustrated, and projects get delayed. Once everyone has bought in to the scope of work, it is imperative for requirements to be clear and well documented. Keeping track of all the requirements is where things get tricky. Imagine having a to-do list a mile long that involves collaborating with multiple people to complete. How would you keep all those items straight? How would you track how one change to an item would affect the rest of the project? This is where traceability and change management add value. This is where traceability and change management add value. Planning good requirements. So what makes a good requirement? A good requirement should be valuable and actionable. It should define a need as well as provide a pathway to a solution. Everyone on the team should understand what it means. Again, requirements would vary in complexity. A good requirements document can be part of a group with high-level requirements broken down into sub-requirements. They may also include very detailed specifications that include a set of functional requirements describing the behavior or component of the end product. Good requirements need to be concise and specific and should answer the question, what do we need? Rather than, how do we fulfill a need? Good requirements ensure that all stakeholders understand they're part of the plan. If parts are unclear or misinterpreted, the final product could be defective or fail. Preventing failure or misinterpretation of requirements can be aided by receiving feedback from the team continuously through the process as requirements evolve. Continuous collaboration and buy-in with everyone is a key to success. Requirement gathering and analysis. A requirement is a condition or capability needed by a stakeholder to solve a problem or achieve an organized objective. A condition or capability that must be met or possessed by a system. Requirement analysis in software engineering on software development covers those tasks that go into determining the needs or conditions to be met for a new or altered product, taking account of the possible conflicting requirements of various stakeholders, analyzing, documenting, validating, and managing software or system requirements. The requirements should be documented, actionable, measurable, testable, traceable. Requirements should be related to identified business needs or opportunities and defined to a level of detail sufficient for system design. So you as a business analyst gather information through observing the existing system, studying the existing procedure, discussions with the customer and the end users. The analyst should also have imaginative and creative skills in absence of a working system. Analyzing the gathered requirements to find the missing links is requirement analysis. Requirements gathering and the eliciting approach. To gather and elicit objectives, ask the business expert, the development manager, and the project sponsor the following questions. What business objectives of the company will this project help achieve? Why are we doing this project now? What will happen if we do it later? What if we do not do it at all? Who will benefit from this project? Do the people who will benefit from it consider it the most important improvement that can possibly be made at this time? Should we be doing a different project instead? Possible objectives might be reducing cost, improving the customer service, simplifying the workflow, replacing obsolete technology, piloting a new technology, and many others. Also, make sure you understand exactly how the proposed project will help accomplish the stated objective. So what, in summary, are the different types of requirements? The most common types of requirements which a business analyst is interested would be the following. Number one, business requirements. Business requirements are the critical activities of an enterprise that must be performed to meet the organizational objectives while remaining solution independent. A business requirement document, the BRD, details the business solution for a project, including the documentation of customer needs and expectations. Number two, user requirements. User requirements should specify the specific requirements which the user expects, wants from the software to be constructed from the software project. A user requirement should be verifiable, clear and concise, complete, consistent, traceable, and viable. The user requirement document, URD, or user requirement specifications, is a document usually used in software engineering that specifies what the user expects the software to be able to do. Number three, system requirements. System requirements deal with the defining software resources requirements and prerequisite that needs to be installed on a computer to provide optimal functioning of an application. Next, functional requirements. Functional requirements capture and specify specific intended behavior of the system being developed. They define things such as system calculations, data manipulations and processing, user interface and interaction with the application, and other specific functionality that show how the user requirements are satisfied. Assign a unique ID number to each requirement. Next, non-functional requirements. Non-functional requirements is one which specifies criteria that can be used to judge the operation of a system rather than specific behavior. System architecture speaks on the plan for implementing non-functional requirements. Non-functional requirements speak on how the system should look like, or it can be mentioned like system shall be. Non-functional requirements are also called qualities of the system. Next is transition requirements. Transition requirements describe capabilities a solution must fulfill in order to facilitate transition from the current state of the enterprise to a desired future state, but that will not be needed once the transition is complete. They are differentiated from other requirement types because these are always temporary in nature and because they cannot be developed until both an existing and new solution is defined. Traceability and change management. Requirements traceability is a way to organize, document, and keep track of all the requirements from initial idea generation through to the testing phase. The requirements traceability matrix, RTM, provides a method for tracking the functional requirements and their implementation through the development process. Each requirement is included in the matrix along with its associated section number. As the project progresses, the RTM is updated to reflect each requirement status. When the product is ready for system testing, the matrix lists each requirement, what product component addresses it, and what test verifies that it's currently implemented, as we can see in the diagram. It includes columns for each of the following in the RTM: requirement description, requirement reference in the FRD, the verification method, and requirement reference in test plan. Let's take an example. Connecting the dots to identify the relationship between items within your project, it is a connector of common downstream flow. As such, we should be able to trace each of our requirements back to its original business objective. By tracing requirements, you're able to identify the ripple effect changes have. See if a requirement has been completed and whether it's being tested properly. Traceability and change management provides managers peace of mind and the visibility needed to anticipate issues and ensure continuous quality. I hope that you found this segment on requirements management exciting. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you in the next session.